everybody. Welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Jack Cormier. And I don't know that I've ever done this show with you.
No, I've been a guest a couple of times, but this is the first time behind the desk.
So I'm as afraid as you are at home.
Yep.
This duo is going to be hosting Sports Central. No, I'm just kidding. This first segment brought to us by Spring Hill Suites, and so much going on, so many activities, a sense of, I don't want to say return to normal and normalcy or any of the buzzwords that are around there, but
don't know if we can claim normal right now.
But it's good to see a lot of activities, and always want to remind folks to go to visitcentralflorida.org or centralfloridasports.com for a list of those activities going on, safely occurring here in Polk County. But one of the great things we have in Polk County is our college and universities. We're very blessed in Polk County to have outstanding college and universities. And one of them is with us today, the athletic director of Southeastern University, Drew Watson. And Drew, no strangers to Sports Central, so welcome back, and we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Good to be here.
You got 12 minutes? Go. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Well, I know, and I jokingly say that, but I know Southeastern has, like everyone else, had to go through, go over a lot of hurdles, jump through a lot of hoops. Some football was going on within the conference, some wasn't. Yep. So just give us a quick update as it relates to the changing of the seasons, if you will, because of COVID, and then maybe where we are now.
Well, COVID obviously wreaked havoc on everybody in the fall, and as we navigated the summer and trying to decide if we're going to have athletics, obviously we're NAIA, so we have to depend on them for their governance and oversight. But we decided to give football a shot in all of our fall sports, and we were the only division in the Mid-South to compete. The Bluegrass and Appalachian divisions did not last fall. They're competing now. But we, because of the protocols we put in place, we didn't have a lot of issues with COVID. We were actually the only conference in the NAIA to finish all of our fall sports start to finish. And we had a couple hiccups. We had some postponements that had to be made up, but just really proud of our coaches and our athletic training staff and our athletes for sticking with the protocols and making it through the fall.
So you talk about two of the divisions are competing now. The division that Southeastern is in competed in the fall.
Yep.
Do you have the ability? So there's no championship in AIA, or there is?
There is.
And you opted out of that to play in the fall?
We basically, the NAIA told us that if you wanted to compete in the fall, you could. Mm-hmm. But they moved all of their championships to the spring. So it's been a very busy spring because we've got a women's soccer team that was undefeated in conference champs in the fall. They now have to get geared up and ready to go and play in the first round and hopefully the final round of the national tournament, which is next week. We host the first round, Thursday and Saturday, and so our girls are gearing up for that, ready to go. So we moved all fall to spring, which has made it very busy.
Right.
Fantastic soccer program that continues to compete. So, I mean, you lose a superstar like Uchenna Kanu,
Yep.
and you continue to go on. So tell us about this year's team.
Yeah, Alan Barrios came in this year, has done a great job. He filled in some holes, and I think Uchenna obviously was a great player, World Cup player. But I think you could characterize our team the last few years as Uchenna and supporting cast. She was scoring goals left and right. Mm-hmm. But I would say we weren't the best team in the conference. Kaiser brought a better team, and because of that, they were conference champs. Alan has filled out the roster, and so we don't depend on one or two players. It's a complete effort, and he's done a great job building that program.
Well, and you talk about hosting now the regional, right? The regional tournament equivalent of that, but first opening round of playoffs, if you will. That doesn't just show up at Southeastern because the team was good. It's not a first seed location type thing. It's a bid process, and partners have to come as part of that, correct?
Yeah, and Sam Baker has done a tremendous job. He I think has the hardest job in putting a bid together because he's got to contact all the hotels and make sure we've got the rooms, and which was a challenge for this tournament because we've got Sun and Fun in town, as we're going to talk about later, and the hotels are booked, and so but he did a great job.
Wait, say it one more time.
Hotels
I just like hearing that out loud.
Hotels are booked, so Sam did a great job getting us rooms for the incoming teams. We've got 3 other teams coming in, so I've got a great team. that works to put bids together, and you folks are great. Working with you is just a pleasure. So thank you for that.
Well, we talked about in the open a little bit about the return to normalcy and some of those things. So it's funny you say that, because when Sam came in my office telling me about some of the challenges that were occurring, I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
It's a
actually,
great
I'm
problem.
not as stressed out about it. I'm still stressed
really
out about
is.
it, but it's a good problem
Yep.
to have. So, well, talk about that. So football is not going to be competing in the spring, because they're actually doing spring practice, or have
Yeah,
been, right?
our spring practice season is underway. We're going to do a kind of select a seat event, a spring game next Saturday night. But they're gearing up for the fall. Kaiser ended up, they're representing our division in the national tournament. But for us, we felt it was going to be a challenge physically for our student athletes to compete in the fall, compete in the spring, and then compete in the fall again. That's just a quick turnaround that we didn't feel was particularly safe. So we aren't playing any games this spring, but excited to ramp it back up in the fall.
Well, let's talk about, I'm sorry, Jack. Let's
And
talk
I was gonna
about all
say-
the other events.
Yeah, all the other events and your perennial powerhouse baseball.
Yeah, baseball's doing great. They had a 39-game win streak snapped earlier this year. And so 3 losses on the year. We're in first place in the Sun Conference. And looking forward to possibly hosting the first round of the national tournament down at Chain of Lakes in Winter Haven.
And again, going through the bid process and partners coming together, City of Winter Haven, Polk County Sports Marketing, obviously Southeastern, and then working with the NAIA. Talk about baseball, because just quickly, and I think we're all to the point. Let's look forward, not necessarily back.
Yeah.
But if I'm just going to look back just a little bit, the team lost an opportunity for another run, or an additional run for a national championship last year. Does that give any momentum to this year's team, or it's just a different set of circumstances and let's do it?
There's a little bit of momentum there. I think the biggest factor in that was all of those players from last year got an additional year of eligibility. And so while it was, we were the number 1 team in the country at the time, having a great run. I think we had lost 1 game at that point in the season. We're ready to go into the playoffs in the World Series again. But then COVID hits, and I think the saving grace was those players who were there, it was their last year, they can now jump back into this year, and we've had that happen. Not in every case, but we've got a lot of the players back from last year that were seniors competing again, and it's just made the team that much deeper.
Great.
And wrestling. Tell us about this year's wrestling. This was a special year for you guys in wrestling.
Yeah, we had 2 national champions for the first time in program history, Kyle Kirkham and Andreas Bond. Bond is from Lake Gibson, so he's a local product. So a lot of people in the area reaching out, and it was kind of cool for me. I'm getting emails during the tournament from Kyle Kirkham's high school assistant principals just saying, hey, we're watching, we're excited for him. Just so pumped up for those guys and for the program. We were, 5 years ago when we started wrestling, we were the only collegiate program in Florida. Now Kaiser and St. Thomas have joined, and we're hoping that we get more to kind of get the momentum going here. But so proud of those guys and Coach Brandon George for the work they did to earn national championships.
Well, we've seen that before, when I think Weber was first to have football in Polk County, and then now you've got 3 college football teams in Polk County with Warner and Southeastern, but the rising tide lifts all ships, and certainly it has to be a great recruiting element, not just in the terms of sports, but in terms of students to the general body or student body of the college, correct?
Yeah, that was one of the things we looked at when we started football, is that it's not just getting football players on campus, it just changes the whole sports culture of the campus, and we've seen that work out, and we do get students because we have football.
Well, and what was it, 18, 19? I know you were getting ready to hit on that, the awards that we could do the entire show with the awards that Drew has won.
Yes.
And Southeastern has won, but the Commissioner's Cup had to be special because as you added all those things in a short period of time, back to 18, 19, winning Commissioner's Cup in about 10-year time period had to be special for the university.
Yeah, that was an award that had eluded us because it really is the award goes to the school that has the best success across the board. So you could have a couple of really good programs and not win the cup. So just really proud of the coaches. They really put their nose to the grindstone and got that done. I was very proud of that accomplishment.
Very good.
I do have one more thing though.
No,
Yes.
no.
National championship in women's 4x400.
That was.
I was
yep.
looking to.
I
I
was
was
looking
he
down.
was-
I
he
was
was
looking
gonna-
down, trying to catch up. So
I didn't mean to step on your,
Yeah.
your open there, Jack.
Nice job, Jack. Yeah, another national title.
Yeah, they all happened in the same weekend. And so you had the 2 wrestlers and the 4x400 relay team all win national championships. So it was a great weekend for Southeastern. But Nick Dotson is our head track and field coach, and he has done just a tremendous job building a national caliber program in 3 years. You know, our first year we won the Sun Conference men's and women's track and field titles, and he's just done a good job of maintaining that success. Our teams are number 2 in the country. Our men's and women's teams are number 2. So would like to be number 1, but our top ranked. So it's really fun to watch them compete.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, and time flies by. Maybe next time we'll have him on for a couple of segments. But we appreciate all that you're doing there at Southeastern University, not only for the student body, but also recruiting and working with sports marketing to bring other events in to Polk County, because generates even more economic impact. So we really appreciate it.
Our partnership is phenomenal. So thank you.